For decades, Catherine O'Hara has been a constant presence in popular culture, the kind of performer whose work quietly weaves itself into people's lives. From holiday living rooms glowing with Home Alone to late-night rewatches of Schitt's Creek, her performances have carried warmth, absurdity, and emotional truth in equal measure. She isn't just remembered for jokes or catchphrases, but for how she made audiences feel safe laughing at chaos. O'Hara built a career that crossed generations without ever chasing attention, allowing her characters to speak louder than publicity ever could. Her ability to balance humor with humanity made her unforgettable, not as a celebrity, but as a creative force. When people reflect on her career, they aren't mourning a loss. They're acknowledging a legacy that feels personal. She represents the rare artist whose work outgrows time, trends, and even the industry that shaped her. Growing up where humor was survival, Catherine O'Hara's comedic instincts were shaped long before Hollywood ever noticed her. Growing up in a large, energetic family in Toronto, humor wasn't optional. It was a way to be heard. In a house filled with voices, timing mattered, wit mattered, and confidence mattered. That environment sharpened her observational skills and taught her how comedy could diffuse tension, create connection, and claim space. She learned early that laughter wasn't just entertainment, it was communication. Those instincts followed her into adulthood, grounding her performances in authenticity rather than polish. Unlike performers who rely on volume or spectacle, O'Hara's comedy always came from precision and awareness. Her characters felt lived in because they were rooted in real human behavior. This foundation gave her a quiet strength that later allowed her to navigate fame without losing herself in it. Breaking through with fearless comedy, O'Hara's rise through the comedy world was anything but easy. In the 1970s, improvisational comedy spaces like Second City were intense, competitive, and overwhelmingly male. Yet she didn't carve out space by demanding attention. She earned it by being undeniable. Performing alongside future legends, she proved herself not as a side presence, but as a creative equal. Her fearlessness wasn't loud, it was controlled. She could disappear into characters so completely that audiences forgot the performer behind them. That versatility made her invaluable and unpredictable in the best way. She wasn't trying to be liked. She was trying to be true. This period shaped her professional discipline and reinforced her belief that comedy was serious work. It also laid the groundwork for a career built on respect rather than spectacle, a rarity in an industry driven by ego. Becoming a cultural constant when Home Alone arrived, Catherine O'Hara didn't just play a worried mother. She embodied a universal feeling. Her frantic airport scene became iconic, not because it was exaggerated, but because it was real. Parents recognized themselves in her panic, her guilt, and her fierce love. From that moment on, she became a cultural constant, returning to homes year after year through reruns and traditions. Yet fame never seemed to change her priorities. While audiences embraced her as a holiday staple, she remained grounded, careful not to confuse recognition with identity. She understood the difference between being visible and being valued. That awareness allowed her to navigate success without becoming consumed by it. Her performances offered comfort, familiarity, and reassurance, quietly reminding people that imperfection and love often coexist, both on screen and in life. Perfectionism behind the laughter behind O'Hara's effortless comedy was a meticulous process few people ever saw. Colleagues often described her as intensely focused, deeply prepared, and relentlessly precise. Every pause, every inflection, every movement was considered. She treated comedy with the seriousness of craft, not instinct alone. That dedication sometimes manifested as quiet self-doubt rather than confidence. She didn't see herself as a star. but as someone responsible for getting it right. That internal pressure pushed her to deliver extraordinary work, but it also demanded emotional energy. She carried expectations not imposed by fame, but by her own standards. While audiences laughed freely, she worked carefully, believing that comedy deserved respect. This balance between discipline and play is what made her performances resonate so deeply. They weren't accidents. They were carefully built moments of truth disguised as humor. The reinvention of Moira Rose. Late in her career, Catherine O'Hara achieved something few performers ever do: reinvention without erasure. Moira Rose wasn't a departure from her legacy, it was an evolution of it. The character was extravagant, absurd, and unforgettable, yet still grounded in emotional sincerity. Through Moira, O'Hara proved that brilliance doesn't fade with age. It sharpens. Audiences embraced the character's eccentricity while recognizing the heart beneath it. Awards followed, but more importantly, so did a new generation of fans. O'Hara didn't chase relevance, she created it. She allowed herself to be bold without being desperate, theatrical without losing control. Moira Rose became a symbol of creative freedom, showing that artists don't need reinvention through youth, but through courage. It was a masterclass in timing, trust, and self-knowledge. Protecting privacy in a public world. One of Catherine O'Hara's most defining traits has always been her commitment to privacy. In an industry built on exposure, she chose restraint. She shared her work generously, but guarded her personal life with intention. This wasn't secrecy born of fear, but boundaries rooted in self-preservation. She understood how easily the industry could consume people who gave it too much. By keeping her circle small and her focus clear, she avoided becoming defined by speculation or narrative. Silence, for her, was not weakness. It was control. She let performances speak instead of interviews, characters instead of confessions. This approach allowed her to sustain a long, healthy career without burnout or public collapse. Her example reminds us that visibility is not the same as vulnerability, and that dignity can coexist with success. The cost of giving joy comedy often hides its own cost. Performers like O'Hara spend years channeling energy outward, ensuring others feel lighter, happier, and understood. That generosity can be exhausting, even when it's fulfilling. The expectation to always be sharp, present, and emotionally available doesn't disappear when the cameras stop. O'Hara carried that responsibility with grace, rarely allowing the strain to show. She believed professionalism meant showing up fully, regardless of fatigue. While audiences saw confidence and control, the work itself required endurance. Her career reminds us that joy doesn't come without effort, and laughter isn't effortless for those who create it. Recognizing that cost doesn't diminish the gift, it deepens appreciation for it. Her legacy encourages empathy for artists whose work feels effortless, precisely because of how much care goes into it. A legacy that continues to speak. Catherine O'Hara's story isn't one of tragedy or scandal, but of sustained excellence, thoughtful boundaries, and creative courage. She built a body of work that continues to comfort, inspire, and connect people across generations. Her characters remain alive in the cultural imagination, not frozen in time, but actively rediscovered. More importantly, her career offers a model for longevity without compromise. She proved that you can evolve without abandoning yourself, succeed without surrendering privacy, and give joy without losing dignity. Her impact isn't measured by headlines, but by laughter shared, traditions formed, and moments remembered. In a world hungry for spectacle, she chose substance. That choice is why her legacy feels permanent. Catherine O'Hara didn't just entertain audiences, she earned their trust, And that is the rarest achievement of all.